Okay, welcome to another session, another live session with Aisosa Osawaru. And tonight I'm going to be sharing how you can become a money magnet. And if you watch this video to the end, you'd learn how to never go broke again. Of course, that's you should apply it. Don't just learn, but learning isn't complete without application. So as you write down points, as you get ideas on what to do next, also do not forget to go ahead and write the things that you're going to stop doing and the things that you're going to start doing. Okay, how to become a money magnet. I know when some persons, saw the topic and they were like, okay, so it means I'll just be attracting money and money will just be following me and be running after me. Yes, but I was speaking ironically. So the word there money was actually meant value, right? But money is still part of the things that would, be attracted to you. But money is one of the least things. So money should not be the emphasis of your being. Money should not be the anchor point of everything I do. So value should, right? Because you being on planet Earth, one purpose is to add value. When the scripture says that be fruitful and multiply, that's giving value. So you do not want to live the life of being given birth to, get married, get a house, raise a kid or raise children, and then that's the summary of your life. If that is or used to be your plan, I'm hoping that after tonight's session and all the sessions that we're going to be having in this 30 days from the 1st to on the 30th of March, that it's going to be empowering for you and it's going to change your mindset to thinking better and to taking better decisions, taking better actions, making better decisions. Okay, so why the concept of becoming a money magnet, right? So you permit me to intertwine or use the word value sometimes instead of money, right? Because value encompasses money. It encompasses different kind of currency. Money is just a kind of currency. There are other kind of currencies. I think I first heard this concept from John Obidi, right? The currency of money, the currency of attention, the currency of energy, and the currency of time, right? So all of these are currencies, but most times people only get to focus on the currency of money. Meanwhile, the currency of attention is also one currency that's also very valuable, especially in this our day and time, right? And this is the currency that social media feed on the most because they are practically stealing or looking for your time, trying to gain your attention. So again, with all the content and all the videos, and I think that's part of what led to putting this together, right? Having this whole 30 days, putting out uplifting, valuable content because there are a lot of content out there, from entertainment content to skits, comedy. Of course, I know there should be balance. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and all play and no work. So, but the emphasis is if we don't do something about it, if you don't intentionally feed on the things that will build you, what do you expect your life to look like in the next 10 years? You cannot use Smith to make cake. So it's out of the abundance of the things that you feed yourself that your life is going to produce after. Remember the scriptures, if you are familiar with the book of Genesis, where it says, after its kind, they reproduced, after its kind. So just the same way, right, that after the kind of the things that you feast on, the things that you pay attention to, the things that you give your money to, the things that you spend your time doing, it's after the kind of those things that your life would produce, out of. Okay? So, going back to this topic on becoming a money magnet, There are 4 things I'm going to share with us tonight that would help to make us someone who continuously attracts money and other form of valuables. Okay. So number one is mindset shift. Of course, if you've been following me for a long time, you should know by now that I'm someone who's very, very big on mindset, because I believe that your mindset or the mindset of a person is what makes the person. And if your mindset is poor, don't be shocked if the outcome of your life is poor, right? So people would always rise or fall to the level of their mindset, because that's what it simply is. It's saying set me, right? Mindset is what you allow to set you. And that is why it is very, very, very important that you pay attention to the things that you allow to set your mind. So it's to be able to become a money magnet. First off, you have to shift your mindset. So if your mindset is someone who thinks that I'm not that valuable, you know, I don't think I would need to be hustling, for example. Of course, in fact, the word hustling is a wrong word to describe your endeavors or your activities. Though we don't have time to go into that tonight, but you can just Google it, the meaning of hustling or the meaning of hustler, and you see that it's not something you want to call yourself or use for the things that you do. But that aside, right? So talking about mindset shift. So where do you want to position your mindset? How do you want to position your mindset? Right? Because you have to change your perspective from, okay, money is hard to get, to money finds me. And it's very possible. Very, very possible. But it first starts from the mind. Okay, you have to force yourself. And I'm going to share 3 strategies on how you can do that, right? Real quick. So it's all about practical. We are not doing theories. We are doing both theories and practical tonight. Yeah. So first off is 3 steps to shifting your mindset in simple ways that you can do. First off, you want to read about people who are doing well in their industry and who resonates with the kind of person that you want to become, and the person that you are looking at or you are modeling from. Okay, so first you have to read books of people that inspires you, books of people that are doing excellently well in your industry, because and then you are not focusing on their successes. Yes, you are reading their successes to inspire you, but you are focusing on their processes, because it's the process that creates the success. Okay, so you want to know, how did this guy do, like how did they figure out their life? What are the decisions they made in the course of their career? Of course, you won't find everything online. There are certain things they would not share, on their books or stuff like that. But find a way to fit the puzzles together. Sometimes they get to share some of the things on their social media, and they share some on their books, and then they share some on random podcasts. So that is why if you read the book, Still Like an Artist, it's emphasized on the point on the fact rather of you feasting on somebody's idea, like finding a set of people that resonate with you, and then going all in consuming their content. Anywhere you can find their content online, you go ahead and consume it, because as you do that, you are modeling something inside of you. Again, the idea is not to copy exactly what they are doing, but you're modeling, right? The book of Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun, right? All that will be is all that has been. Okay, so you have to understand that part. Modeling, learning and reading from the stories and the processes of people who have gone ahead. That's one. Two is you have to find environment or find places where this kind of people go to, and where these people usually, reside or hang out or do stuff. Because, and this is part of why we attend events, okay? This is part of why we attend events, not just for the knowledge, but because of the environment and what that would do to our mind. If you have ever been on an event, or you went for an event, but prior to that time you were feeling like sad or something, or just carried yourself and be like, let me just shall go because I need to be there, right? And then you went there and you came back, you were feeling so excited and uplifted and all of those different positive emotions. If you've ever been there, you can just signify in the comment section. I have been there multiple times. It's like, oh God, I don't feel like going to this event, but I'm like, okay, they said go for events, so I'm going. And one particular time, I was so very certain that if I go to this event, I would definitely come back more happier, more excited, and more energetic to want to do the next big thing. Okay, so you want to pay attention to that. So for some of us, this is why you see us pay high level, pay for high level events, and you're almost asking us like, are you crazy? How you pay 100K for an event that is holding for just one day? Like, what are you doing? You see that you don't have what to do with money. In fact, at some point in time, I know someone who literally emptied his bank account on himself, right? Always traveling, different cities, attending events. You'll be like, are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? Right? But it's placing value on yourself from the inside. And I'll talk more about this later, right? So number one is read about these people, study about their processes, study about their stories and how they made certain decisions that helped them in moving forward. And secondly, which we just discussed now, is being spaces and in the environment of where these people are, right? And the last is find ways to engage in conversations with those people. Find ways to engage in conversations with those people, because, and this is the height of it, right? This is the height of it, because when you engage in conversations with this kind of people, what happens is there's a mindset shift that happens to you, because you get to see things from a higher and better perspective. Okay, I've been in conversations with people where after they were done, I just went about be thinking about, if you know what I mean, right? So, and it happened twice in a row. I met this person and we were discussing, those kind of conversations, if it has ever happened to you. There was this day I scheduled a meeting with a friend and we went out, we were gisting, and we were seeing very awesome things, like, I kid you not, talking about AI, software of things, is that what they call it, and all that big tech stuff and all of that. But guess what? I hope he's not listening to this live session or he doesn't get to see this. But guess what, right? I was nodding my head. You would think that I am like, those kind of conversations where you cannot contribute, like you're finding it difficult to contribute so that you don't go and fall your hand, right? So that was me, and I was really pissed with myself. I'm like, I don't understand, me nothing to contribute for. As in, it was really, really it was a really, really blessed conversation. First, I was angry with myself, which forced me to go and learn more about those things that he was talking about, right? And as a result of that, guess what? I got better, right? Because I engaged in that conversation. And like 1 week after, I met somebody else again and we're talking. And the person was talking highly. I'm like, God, is it that I have been hiding in a hole all this while, right? And so this leads me to something which I didn't even meant to talk about for today, but learn to go deeply into things. I think I'll talk more about this in the next point, right? but engage in conversations with high level people. So for some persons, you might want to politely ask them out, and not like on a date or like on a romantic date, please. Because if there's not that mutual feelings already, it can lead to something else, like really in a negative way, right? They might feel irritated, like I don't understand. But that's a different story entirely for another conversation. Okay. But I mean, politely ask them out, oh, can we talk more about this in at the dinner or at lunch or something? And then offer to pay the bills. So even if they are really, really wealthy people, offer to pay the bills, because the conversation for you, it's not about money now. It's about the level of information that they would get to share. It's about the level of reality they would expose to your mind. See, you would not know that something is possible. Like, you would not have the desire to want to go for something if you don't even know that there's a possibility of that thing existing in the first place. Okay, so that is why you want to get yourself exposed. You want to get yourself in the presence of the right people and engage in conversation with them, because you want to know, what is it that you've been up to? What have you been learning? What are the things that I need to start looking out for in my industry? Okay. Um, then maybe even ask questions about yourself and the things that you do, and that way they can give you personalized responses. Okay, they can give you, okay, do this. From my experience, if you are going through this, then this is what you should do. And what that also help you do is that it shortens your journey in getting to that level of success. Okay, but again, all of this is about shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance, because for the wealthy person, money is easy to get. For the poor person, money is hard to get. Just allow that to sink in for a while. So if I say 20 million naira, for example, now for those in Nigeria, right, is not difficult to make, right? Do you feel anything in your mind like, that's a lot of money, right? If you do, that's still a limiting, mindset for you. Okay, I think I recommended a couple of books in the last live session that we had on finances. So you should, if you missed out on that session, go and find it. It's on Facebook Live, and listen to it. You'll be blessed. Trust me. Next week we will be having more conversations about finances, but you want to shift your mind that money is not something I should pursue. Money is something that should follow me, that should pursue me instead. Okay, so that is it for point number one. I hope we have been getting value so far. Okay, let me know if you've been getting value so far. So the second point is, because of time, become more valuable. Become more valuable and place a premium on yourself. So remember how I was talking about a few minutes ago about you taking time to study things deeply. One common trait with professionals, and I mean people who are exceptionally good at what they do, is the fact that they go above and beyond than an average person would usually do in that particular skill, right? They put in their 10,000 hours over and over again. And there used to be a rule of thumb that for you to become a professional, you need to practice or put in 10,000 hours into learning that particular skill. But in this current economy and in this current, day and time, it has even gone higher than that. You have to keep putting in your 10,000 hours every now and then, because things are rapidly changing faster than it has ever been. Okay, so you cannot put in 10,000 hours and relax and say, okay, I've learned it, I'm good now, there's nothing else. No, you must keep pushing for more. You must keep upskilling to the point of becoming more valuable. Is that how valuable you are is how people will treat you. And people will give you money in exchange for the value that you can give to them or the solution that you can provide. Whether you are solving a problem or you are giving a solution, it's both value. Okay. So the more valuable you become, the more your earning power increases. But becoming only valuable is not enough. And I'm going to talk more about what you need to add to that. But first, you need to upskill. You need to go all in. So, three ways on how you can do this. First off, you want to identify what exactly you want to be good at. You cannot be good at everything. You cannot be known for everything. So, you want to identify what's that particular thing that I want to be known for as a professional or as an expert. Like, let it be that once they mention this skill, the first name that comes to mind is my name. Identify that. And sometimes for creatives, it's not so easy to identify. Yes, I can relate. It's not so easy to identify. But sometimes you just need to choose something and focus on that for that period of time. And it's okay if it gets to change over time. A lot of people that we know right now, if you checked their track record, some of them changed their titles or their career path over the years. There's no law anywhere that says that you must be one thing and you must be there forever. In fact, there's something now called portfolio banking. It's portfolio banking. I think that's what it's called, right? But I'm not so sure. But it's something around, you building multiple portfolios to deliver services. Rather. Okay, so first off, identify what is it that you want to become good at, that you want to be exceptionally good at. Second is learn obsessively about that thing. Go all in. Check the highest paid people in the world. Check the people who are doing phenomenal things in their industries. Is it Elon Musk? Is it Steve Jobs? Is it the lady that wrote the book Harry Potter? Is it Mark Zuckerberg? Check. One thing they have in common is that at some point in their life, they became obsessive about what is it that they were building. Like they went all in. Some even went all in, like to the extent of zoning out from every other thing else. Some had to lock themselves indoors for days just working on that particular thing. So you have to get to that point if you really are serious about becoming a money magnet. You can't be you can't be everywhere, and you can't be in the faces of everybody all the time and expect them to still value you. Guess what? Scarcity increase value. If you are in Nigeria, you know how it is when there is no fuel. Let's say there's scarcity of fuel for a certain period of time. Automatically, the price of fuel just goes up, right? Because of scarcity. So think about it in the same way. If you are valuable, if you have something valuable to offer, and you withdraw yourself from the world, and if you are so good, again, don't be a beginner and then not withdraw yourself. Except you are withdrawing yourself to go and learn more and become so good at it, right? Else you just go into extinction. So you want to learn to take out time to practice, to dig deeply, to research deeply beyond what an average person in that part would usually do. You want to do that, you want to ensure that you are going the extra mile, okay, in learning that particular skill. And then you want to place a premium on yourself. So in the sense that identify your worth. And now when I say identify your worth, I don't mean identify your worth in terms of self-worth. I mean the worth of your skill. Because it is possible that, for example, you're a graphic designer, you can become so good and you're designing beautiful designs, and somebody out there is designing something even less than that, and they are charging, say, 50,000 naira per flyer. and you're better than that person, but because you don't know what that service is worth, you're charging, say, 10,000 naira per flyer. So you have to find out, what does this thing really cost, or what's the worth of this skill, what's the worth of this service, and then now attach a fee, a premium to it. So contrary to popular opinion, people feel like there's scarcity of jobs. Actually, that's not true. It's just that there is um surplus of mediocre people and scarcity of high value people. I have seen occasions over and over again where people are so bombarded with a lot of jobs that they are even declining. And they are not, mind you, they are not receiving that much, job placement and stuff like that because they are like, because they're like using something very supernatural or something like that. No, they are because they are so good at it that people don't want to give anybody else but them. I think the phrase for that would be become so good that you cannot be ignored, right? That people would not mind, giving excuses for your flaws, right? Just because of how good you've become in that particular craft. I know someone many years ago who, at a point in his career, right? That was February. He told us this in February. It was like he was booked till April. Like he does a a service-based business. And I mean, he said he had received enough clients for the next, I think, about 2-3 months. Right? That's what happened when you become so good. People will beg you with their money to handle their services, to handle their problems. And I've seen it multiple times. If you are struggling to get clients, there are many things that could be behind that, right? Of course, you can be good and still be struggling to get clients. First off, how positioned are you, right? How positioned are you? What are your systems and structures like? What's your customer service like, right? Do you have the right funnels for retaining people, or you just give them services and allow them go like that? Like, there are a lot of things that you need to look into just to ensure that, okay, I am positioned correctly to attract customers, which we'll talk about in another live session because of time. Yeah. So we're talking about the last part of learning to become more valuable and placing a premium on yourself is identifying the worth of your service or your skill, and then attaching a fee to it so that you are able to gain the highest level of value in exchange for the services that you provide. And I intentionally said value and not money, right? Because value can be in different forms. So I can't remember where I think I was either reading it or I watched a video somewhere where someone said that, sometimes not everybody pays with money. He has offered services multiple times where people paid with a lot of lands, right? So don't think that, don't allow your mind to be limited to the fact that everything must be paid with money. Some things can be paid with recommendations, and we'll talk about more about that in the last point, right? So in becoming more valuable and placing a premium on yourself, you have to identify the skill that you want to be good at. You need to learn obsessively about that skill, and then you need to identify the worth of that skill or service that you provide. The third factor that we're going to talk about in becoming a money magnet, again, in becoming a value magnet, is learn the business of things. You should write that in the comment section. Learn the business of things. Very important. So the fact that you have a skill doesn't literally mean that you can now go ahead and make money with that skill. There is the knowledge of a skill, and then there's the business of the skill. There are people who are so good at what they do, and somehow they cannot translate that into, you know, monetary values. They cannot get people to pay them for their services. That could be as a as a as a result of different reasons, but one of them could be because they've not learned the business of that skill. Okay, so in learning the business of a skill, these are three things you need to learn about. First is negotiation. So you want to learn how to negotiate like a pro and not like an amateur, because negotiation is an act that you should learn. Two is sales. Don't tell me I'm shy, I'm not into sales. No. All throughout life, if you check, you're always selling. You're always having to sell something. Who was it that said it again? I think there's a book titled Sell or Be Sold. So which literally means if you don't sell, they will sell you, right? So you need to learn how to sell. And it's not just about selling a product. It can be selling an idea. It can be selling a vision to somebody. You convincing somebody, or proposing to somebody to marry you, is you selling the idea of the future with both of you together, right? Same thing with different other things. So learn to sell. Read books. I just mentioned one, Sell or Be Sold. There's The Psychology of Sales by Brian Tracy. There's a book, Sales Dog, by Robert Kiyosaki. Very beautiful book I read some time ago. And the book was somehow, because at first I opened it, I could not read it. I dropped it, and somehow I went back again and I unlocked the book and I was able to read it, and I loved the book. In fact, I was begging the book should not finish. Have you ever been there when you are reading a book and you're begging, please don't finish, please, and you're checking how many pages is left? I've been there myself. Yeah. And the last one is human psychology, and this was something I had to learn way back 2017 into 2018. I read a lot of books about human psychology, non-verbal communications, and all of those many other stuff that influences the behavior of people, either to sell or to buy. So you want to learn what make people stick. You want to learn why would somebody want to buy your product? Why would somebody want to approach you? Right? There are different things to it. In fact, the color people use for their brands are so okay for top brands too. Some people have brands and they just pick color randomly. It shouldn't be so. Okay, Coca-Cola picked red for a reason. Facebook picked blue for a reason. If you noticed, a lot of social media network, pick blue, red, and then some randomly pick black. Right? But the idea is blue gives this friendly, emotion, right? It gives this friendly emotion. That's why you see Facebook and even Twitter at some point. Twitter at the beginning was blue, right? And some other social network like LinkedIn now, it gives this connection, this social vibes, right? Color. So in learning about the psychology of human, you also need to learn certain things about color, body language. If someone starts looking somewhere else when they're having conversations with you, what can it mean, right? Like what might be the meaning of that always looking somewhere else, right? So all of this has hidden meanings, and you don't want to be caught in the position of they were sending a signal and you could not read it and act in response to it. Okay, so very important, learn about human psychology, how the human think. Okay, people would always think, what's in it for me? So sometimes you come with your product or your service and you're bombarding people with, oh, buy from me rather, this product these are the futures, it is this, it is that, it has high energy power saving, you use all the big grammar that there is. But at the end of the day, what they are most concerned about is, what will it do for me? Simple. How will it benefit me? Simple. So you must be able to communicate your service and the things that you offer in that regard, that they get to see why they should patronize you. They get to see why they should buy from you instead of somebody else. So there's that place where there's the USP, the unique selling proposition. So what makes your product unique? What makes your service unique? Why should they patronize you over a neighbor that might be selling the same thing? So that's why, or that is where, you being creative about the solutions that you offer come into place. So you hear people do things like, they go ahead and they say they need a service, say an event planner to plan their wedding ceremony, and yet things like the event is in Lagos, they want to bring people from Abuja to do the planning. You're asking yourself, with that stupidity or that waste of money, like, are you saying that there's nobody in Lagos? No. It's about value, it's about trust, right? It's about value, it's about trust. And trust me, when people have the money, they will not mind taking somebody from outside the country to offer that particular service for them. Yes. So your problem should not be, oh, people are not coming. The problem, your concern, not your problem now. Your concern should be, how can I become so valuable that these people will literally contact me from anywhere in the world to offer my service and my solutions? I was just talking about, if you've not, or if this is your first time of training, my name is Aisosa Osawaru, and I am a personal growth strategist. And over the last decade, I've helped people become better versions of themselves. And I'm also the founder of XLA Community, where we guide people in their personal and professional growth. And currently, we have over 400 members, and we are growing. And our vision is just to help people scale to be very successful at the things that they do. And of course, we have the private community, which is a paid one, and where we also go the extra mile to ensure that we become more valuable. And our vision for the private community is to raise or assist in the empowerment of 10 billionaires in 10 years. That's by 2035. Okay, so we should have a minimum of 10 billionaires with us on that platform. And so we've done that through different initiatives, like we've engaged in different sessions and all of that. It has been phenomenal. And if you want to be a part of that community, send me a DM or check the link at my YouTube description. There's a link that says contact me, and you get details on how you can be a part of that community. Mind you, at this point in time, we're still going through the 30 days of uplifting content challenge, which the idea is to help people grow, to share good content and allow positive content trend and go viral, so that people can be blessed, so that people can be enlightened. And if you want to be a part of that platform, it's also open to everybody. It's free to be a part, right? It's built to bless life. So you can either send me a message or just type in the comment section so someone can assist you on how you can join the dedicated WhatsApp group to be a part of that too. Thank you. So that's that for that. So like I was saying, the last point for tonight is prioritize relationships. I'm not saying romantic relationships, please. I mean relationships in general. And this is very important because we are living in such a time where people are very quick to burn bridges. Yeah. And they just want to protect their mental health at all costs. And sometimes they forget that they are the one that have been toxic, right? They're the one that's been toxic. in the first place. But again, in the name of mental health, right, they get to cut people off, and they don't treat people like they should, right, as well as they should. So in this journey of attracting money, yeah, or of attracting value, the money you want, the money that you want to attract will come through people. Money flows through men. And so there are some heights you'll never get to without the endorsement of other people. Okay. And so this is why you must be kind, selfless, and strategic in your networking. Again, I intentionally use selfless and strategic. Okay. Because it's very easy to get into the trap of only connecting with people based on the idea of what you get from them, which is okay, but not the best way. So in a relationship, there's relationships by transactions. Okay, it's called transactional relationships, and then there is transformational relationships. We don't have time for that, so that will be for another day. But the idea is, at every point in time, your mindset should not be fixed at what will I get from this person right now. Okay, because if you give value, if you contribute value, you definitely get something. You definitely get something in return. In fact, just for just so you know, right, the value you would get from the things that you give sometimes might not even come from that person. So if you're a believer, you must have seen the scripture where it says you would reap what you sow. But mind you, it did not say you will reap from where you sow. So you can sow to this person by being kind to this person, and then you go and reap from the other person, and something just happened and they recommend you from nowhere. And you're wondering, what did I do to deserve this? And some time ago, you also recommended somebody. And that brings me to my first point under the subject of prioritizing relationships, which is one, you must offer value. You must offer value upfront. I mean, in terms of giving value for free. It's not every time you get to give value in exchange for something upfront. Sometimes there are certain people that you need to give value to without expecting anything in return for the value you've given to them. Okay. There are certain people in my career navigations where I've reached out to and I'm like, I want to do this thing for you. Don't pay me anything for it. Right. And that creates something in their mind that, and especially most times, in fact, so not most times, but they are in two categories. Sometimes there are people who you know that at this point in their life, they can never repay you for the value you just offered because they do not have the means to, right? So you're doing it as charity, and that's fine. And some other times, there are people who can pay you really well for that service, but you're using that giveaway free value as an appetizer, as a way to get them to remember you for future events. I heard of someone who, I can't really remember the exact person. If you can remember, just drop it in the comment section. There was a story of how someone started getting speaking engagement with somebody with a very big company in Lagos. Was the first time he went to see this person. I think he was to deliver something, and then he gave a book, right? Like he gave a book as a gift to the person, and the person was like so impressed, like, oh my god, and all of that. That was how he started. And the person would say, if it's not this guy, don't bring me anybody else for this job. Okay, because first he started with the mindset of giving value up front. Okay, so learn to give value up front. Second is learn to go the extra mile, right? Learn to go the extra mile. Sometimes the way you planned it would not be the way it goes, right? Learn to go the extra mile. So say, for example, you guys had a contract agreement, or let's not make it so serious as the contract agreement. Like there's something you were supposed to do. Just a minute. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, sorry. So sometimes, let's say there's a given assignment that was supposed to be done, and say your role did not involve you doing something else, and then there's not a lapses and an opportunity for you to come in and bridge that gap. Don't say, oh, they're not paying me for that, so I'm not going to do it. Sometimes you doing it is what take you to the next level, is what will, cement your name in the mind of those people, that they can say anytime, anywhere, that if it's not this person that is doing it, nobody else, or that they can even, want to endorse you for others. And that takes me to the last point, which is recommend other people. Sometimes we want to get what we've not given. We want to be recommended in rooms that matters when we've not recommended others in small places where we could. There's this thing that goes on among certain people, right? I've seen it happen in certain associations where there's an opportunity and you go to recommend somebody who is high somewhere, right? And then there's your friend close by who could do it. But because of over familiarity in quotes, you don't recommend them. You're like, it's not somebody that's here. Then you go and recommend somebody who you do not even have a close relationship with. And again, I'm not saying if your friend is not good or if your friend will not be able to deliver on that job, that's fine. But if your friend can deliver on that service or on that job, and then you are going to give it to somebody else just because that one looks more touch, has more branding or something, that's really not cool, right? And remember, again, you reap what you sow. So you don't want to start expecting what you've not given. So if you want to be recommended, learn to recommend others. And with this, I would call it a wrap for tonight's session. I hope it has been valuable so far. So don't forget, if this video bless you, don't forget to share with your friends. Don't forget to share with the people around you so that they can be blessed too. It's not only memes or memes that you'll be sharing with people. Share content that will help them grow. Share content that will help them scale and become better people in the society. Yeah. If you're looking for a community where you can accelerate your growth, look no further. XLA private communities for you. It costs just a little token to be a member of the community. If you want to get more information, there's a link in my bio. Tagged connect with me, and you get all the details you need there. And of course, feel free to follow me on other social media platforms. And yes, if you've not subscribed to this YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe and turn on notification. Till our next live session, have a blessed week ahead. Thank you so much. Bye.